What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk NFT, where we talk all things Web3. Personally, I'm super excited to have Spencer here from NFL All Day. He wears many hats. Actually, Spence, I saw you in the X world, Twitter's, what it was formerly known as, right? Talking about All Day and NBA Top Shot prior to you actually joining the company. But I'm not going to spoil it. How about you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how you got with NFL All Day?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, guys. My name's Spencer. I'm with NFL All Day. In my past life, former entrepreneur of about 12 years. Got out of that world and worked in the corporate world for a couple years, and that was around the time of NBA Top Shot taking off back in February of 2021. I'll never forget my first month on Top Shot. But I got introduced by a friend and was having a lot of fun and. A lot of the people I was close to didn't really understand crypto or NFTs, and I decided to create a different Twitter account to I'll have my NFT Twitter account, and it might go by Packrip Mahomets. I gained inspiration from Packrip Ewing, who used to work for NBA Top Shot, and in my mind, I was like, there's going to be a football product someday. Packrip Mahomets made sense to me. So, anyways, made this Twitter account, had a lot of fun, tweeted about NBA Top Shot, a lot of the speculation stuff and flash challenges, and wrote some blogs and did some podcasts, and just kind of immersed myself, and wasn't really loving my corporate job, and it just kind of worked out that I got hired on as a contractor first, and a couple of years have gone by, and here I am now. So I'm here talking to you guys. So what's up with you?
Nice. Sorry, guys, I forgot to intro Brian. Of course, you guys know my co-host Brian, coming over from back then DraftKings world. So you guys have a lot to chat about. But let's talk about All Day. Let's talk about football season. Who's your team? Tell us who your team is.
Okay, so everyone's going to hate on me, but I'm a massive college football fan. Okay, I love college football. The University of Texas is my team. A lot of my family's from Texas from a very young age. Actually, since I was an infant, I've just been kind of brought up to be a Texas fan. So that is my football love. I used to be a huge St. Louis Rams fan, but unfortunately, they left the city of St. Louis about 8 years ago. And since that time, I've kind of supported players more than teams. Bijan Robinson with the Falcons, one of my favorites. When he was at Texas, he was just a beast. But there's all sorts of players around the league I really admire. Patrick Mahomes. I almost said Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a guy that obviously is great, just right across the state. Watched him play a lot in college, but don't really have a particular team. I just root for a lot of games, and I root for specific players, mostly Texas Longhorn guys. So, yeah.
Nice, very diplomatic explanation there. Well, I'm going to be biased since I'm in the Bay. I was born and raised. I'm a Niners fan. We haven't won in 30 years, so I could say that out loud. Although our other teams have, football has not done anything.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
Texas, yeah. Well, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, kind of born and raised in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of how it rolls out there. I'm still a Pirates, Penguins, and Steelers fan. And I went to school Penn State, so I support Penn State. They're having a pretty good year this year compared to a lot of rough years at good old Penn State. But Texas has been fun. My wife actually went to Georgia, and we were
Oh,
closely watching that game. But both teams
mm,
are both are great football teams. It's going to be a fun college football playoff here.
yeah. It's been interesting all around. I like the expanded playoff. Selfishly, I just want to see my team do well instead of just the usual three or four teams. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a Penn State Texas matchup in the playoff. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it by any means. And the matchup's been fun, except for kind of with it being the first year now with the 12 teams. It's like real confusing. I'm like, exactly how many teams are there again?
Right.
But I'm excited, man. It's gonna be great whenever like those teams are solidified, and there's just like I'm gonna be glued to the TV watching those games. There's gonna be great games back and forth, and really anybody could win out of anybody could win on any given Saturday. So it's going to be great to kind of follow that entire playoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think anyone listening to us doesn't know what NFL All Day is, but let's just pretend some don't. Spence, can you tell us a little bit about All Day and what it represents?
Absolutely. NFL All Day is the place to go if you are a massive football fan. It's the place you go if you want to express your fandom of your favorite team, your favorite player. But NFL All Day is the makes officially licensed collectibles for the NFL and the NFLPA. We take the excitement on the field, the most exciting game winning touchdowns or punt returns or big sacks or the rushes where just truck stick through and the plays that make you get off your couch and say wow. We make those in digital form, and you can collect them by buying packs and ripping open packs just like you would with traditional cardboard packs. And you can buy and sell your moments and use them in our game playbook that we could talk a little bit about. And it's just a really interesting experience where there's just real time information and data that really educates the user on marketplace performance and collection sorting and things like that. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. It's just taking the excitement and putting it in your pocket.
Nice. I love it. Coming from NBA Top Shot and all the way to NFL All Day, I'm super excited for what you guys are building. I had a question because, a lot of the Top Shot world, I hate to borrow from the Top Shot world, it's leaning towards fantasy nowadays, more so than before. And I see NFL All Day has their own version of that. You guys call it the playbook, like you just mentioned. And I guess you can answer both questions. Tell us a little bit about the playbook, but also tell us, as NFTs or digital collectibles kind of evolved with maybe Dapper overall, is it more of a fantasy platform nowadays, more so than collectibles? What's your thoughts on that?
Sure. I would say NFL Day is a collectible. We sell collectibles, but I think the more interesting part of digital collectibles is all the things you can do with them. There's third party, there's third party partners like Floaty or Own the Moment, where they create these games or they create a way to loan out your NFTs that you just can't do with physical collectibles in the way that you can with digital. So I think one of the things that we do on NBA Top Shot NFL Day is we kind of imagine things where you have these collectibles. Let's create a game where you can use your collectibles to earn rewards, and you can maybe think of your collectibles in a different way than you would have before. But also, one of the other things we like to do is leverage community members to build out other things to build on top of what we're doing. So I wouldn't say NFL All Day or NBA Top Shot is trending towards fantasy or the opposite direction there or anything at all, other than we want to make collectibles and we want to make a really awesome product, but also we want to unlock things so other people who have really smart and bright ideas can to take advantage of crypto and the blockchain technology to make other things that are really great. So like I said, Own the Moment has their game called Rumble. You can take your moments and create a submission to based off things that happen on the field and win rewards. Floaty has their other things as well, where you can take your NFTs and you can kind of leverage that more or less so like a loan. So I think as the years go by, if you look back, Top Shot back in 2020, 2021, the site today is extremely better. The product is extremely better. The collectibles better. There's more things you can do with it, and I expect for that just to continue to keep snowballing on both NBA Top Shot and NFL All Day.
I love it. I got into the NBA Top Shot days pretty early on there when it was just wild times, as we all know. Moments selling for like six figures, and we had like CSU Ram and Bales talking it up on the timeline.
Yeah.
We had Mark Cuban jumping in. But that was such a great time. But the product's definitely, I love how NFTs have evolved quite a bit over time. Digital collectibles have evolved. And I do love how there's a gamification point of view to NFL All Day. I'm actually going through my portfolio right now as you were talking, kind of curious about some of the moments I had. And I have a lot of season one early moments because I remember whenever it was first launched, I was like, I have to get in on these series one moments because, there was always that thought, like at least in the original Top Shot version, I remember series one was like the gold standard, like the rookie card of the platform. But what are some of your favorite moments, or what are some of your favorite, I guess we should say like series, or I know you have like playoff moments. What's some of your favorites out there on the platform?
Yeah, great question. So one of the unique things about what we do is we can look in the past as well. I'm a huge St. Louis Rams fan, and no longer a Rams fan, I might add. But St. Louis Rams, to me, growing up, was just, for my fandom, the St. Louis Rams in St. Louis were the show. Okay. So I grew up with the greatest show on turf, which was a great time to grow up in football. The greatest offense ever to play in a singular season. You had Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk, Ricky Prohl, all these guys. So on NFL Day, not only are we making collectibles and highlights of what's happening on the field this season, we can talk about that with our rookies this year with Caleb Daniels, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams rather. But for me, like, I like looking in the past. I own Torrey Holt's legendary moment. I own Ricky Prohl and Marshall Faulk's rare moments. We don't have Kurt Warner yet, but some of the plays that I remember growing up with, I now own those collectibles, and it's just really, really interesting to me. If you look, we have the catch. We have Joe Montana minted as an out of 10. It's a super scarce collectible because it's one of the greatest plays in NFL history. But just looking back past seasons, you could look at Patrick Mahomes, last season breaking the 49ers' hearts. But the last two Super Bowls, we have collectibles from the Super Bowls. We have collectibles from rookie seasons. The Texans last season just kind of turned things around. They had a lot of great moments. So I'm giving you a long answer. For me particularly, since I don't have like a team anymore, I always go back to my St. Louis Rams players. But you even have guys like Bijan Robinson. I remember when the Falcons had their overhead camera view of his first like juke in his like second or third game. It kind of broke the internet. We had that play on NFL Day. So, there's not like a one size fits all for me. I like kind of collecting a little bit of everything, but got to go with my Torrey Holt, rookie legendary moment from that Super Bowl run back in '99.
He was such a stud. I love Torrey Holt as just a ball player overall. Just growing up watching him, he was great. It was a great answer. I love that.
Yeah.
Nice. I like your answer earlier, by the way, about how you said this is definitely a collectible. You were for sure set on that, because this last year, personally for me, with Top Shot and All Day, I'm like, I'm doing so much fantasy on it. But you're right. It's actually a collectible and fantasy is a subset. It's a utility function of the collectible itself, which is sometimes you forget that there's many utilities that can be applied to it. And I love what All Day has done. I wish we could bring that some over to the Top Shot world. I know you guys had make a pick for the NFL draft once in a blue moon ago, right? I remember that. If I was not a pick or they attended, you could clarify, but it was something really cool that I wish was brought on over to the Top Shot world. And can you speak to us about any other like in real life events or activations that might have occurred? Is there something like the captain's program akin to All Day on what we have Top Shot?
Yeah, so great questions. I'll answer the first, the captain's program one first. So All Day does not have a captain's program like you would know from the NBA Top Shot captain's program. And just to let the listeners know what that is, essentially every NBA team is assigned two co-captains or sometimes one captain that essentially will run events for their local NBA Top Shot community in that city. There's different ways that it's funded, but there's Discord channels, there's things to do in real life. They go to games. There's all sorts of stuff to do. We don't quite have that on NFL All Day, although we do have some subset communities like All Day Unlimited, for example. Shout out to those guys and girls, which is they've kind of created their own community, and there's different things that they've done. Last season, we ran a kind of a co-event with them in Las Vegas last November. And then to get back into your other question of in real life activation. So we've sent people to the Super Bowl multiple years. We've sent collectors to the draft, like you said, where they were able to turn in the card for the draft pick to be announced, which was a really unique experience. Last year, we sent people to the Pro Bowl for like kind of this VIP behind the scenes experience where they got to hang out near where the players were coming out and talk to players and attend the games and go to these meet and greets. We do virtual hangouts with star players. So last week we had offensive rookie of the year favorite, probably in the top 3 or 4, Brock Bowers, who stopped by for 30 minutes, where collectors were able to collect his moments to gain access. It's one of those pieces of utility that we talk about that you can't quite get in the physical world. Lad McConkey's coming up next week with the Chargers. We spoke to Xavier Legette last year. Puka Nacua. Other players are upcoming that I can't talk about. Hall of Fame players We've done things with last season, Larry Fitzgerald, Tony Gonzalez, like the Richard Sherman, the list goes on and on. So we definitely think that, collecting on NFL Day is a way to get closer to your fandom, whether that's just having pride in your collection or meeting, all-time greats or standout rookies or whatever, or going to unique experiences. We think that, by collecting on NFL Day, it just unlocks the opportunity to do all these things that you can't quite do anywhere else.
I'm so bummed I miss Tony Gonzalez. He was my favorite player growing up. Have his jersey hat. He played for Cal here, basketball actually, and football. So it was exciting. I can't believe I missed that. Hopefully you get him back on and I jump back on.
Yeah. He was on. I guess it was about a year and a half ago. Last Super Bowl, leading up to the Super Bowl. Yeah, we had him on. So that was a cool one. He was a great guy.
And I hate to ask this because this is a sore subject for us Niner fans, but Patrick Mahomes, we know he was actually official partner. I don't know the right word for it. He was officially partner with All Day. How's that been? What lessons have you learned? Is he going to be back for oncoming seasons?
Yeah, the partnership with Patrick Mahomes was fantastic. He not only is he the most recognizable and, in my opinion, the greatest player in the league since Tom Brady. He's kind of taken that throne, but just a great ambassador. You see him on commercials; he's just everywhere, very recognizable. His personality is amazing, and even like working with him, he did content shoots, and we had collectors meet him at the NFL draft when he was in Kansas City, and they got a 30-minute in-person hangout with him. Just could not have been a nicer person. He was great. He's no longer the official face. Just that agreement, had ended. But yeah, he was great. We've done other things with other athletes. You might see another athlete pop up here soon, kind of to be the face of the product for the rest of the season as well. So I think the thing for us is, we understand that NFL fans in particular, different than any other sport, are super loud and loyal to their team. Things you'll see in the NBA, for example, is fans are fans of Kobe Bryant, or they're fans of LeBron James, or they're fans of Giannis, and they'll go wherever that player goes, right? The NFL is a little different. Like, they're super, super loyal to their city and to their team. So one of the things that we've thought about is how can we unlock that super charismatic and passionate feeling towards a fan or an athlete on that team, and how can we use that and leverage that relationship between fan and team and connect it to the fandom on NFL Day. So one of the things that you may have seen us do this season is, these partnerships with athletes like Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Legette. We have other players upcoming. And then also partnerships with NFL teams. So we have partnerships with multiple teams this season. And we've done a couple of things just scratching the surface, and collectors will really start to see that take off in a big way in stadium, email, app push notifications, social posts, all those things that we really think can make big waves for us.
We could talk at length about, physical cards and that physical trading card market and how it's like evolved into now digital collectibles. And the thing that I always loved about like the digital collectibles is how there was like always like an instant liquidity, or like I should say instant liquidity, just the ease of being able to transact. It's something that you immediately rip a pack, and if I like the contents or I don't like the contents, I can list them for sale, and more likely they move really quickly. Unlike physical cards, you rip a pack, you're either selling that card raw, you're getting it graded, you're going through either a card show or an eBay. It's just like clunky at the end of the day. And then when you add on the ability for just overall gamification, and I went down this like path a while back where I was just collecting a massive amount of like one or two players I thought were like up and coming stars or rookies or a backup on the Steelers. I'm like, man, when this guy gets his shot, his $3 card's gonna be $30. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of like build out a portfolio if you want to go just as a pure collector, if you want to kind of like almost invest in players as like a stock market and flip them, pack flipping, or just the gamification aspect. But really, are rookies on the NFL All Day still kind of like the talk of the town when they drop? I know that was what's always been like on NBA Top Shot. And then when you talk about just the physical card market, rookies are huge. Kind of touch base on like the rookie market.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, the top 10 players in the league are always going to be super relevant in collectibles in general. But I think from season to season, there's definitely a spotlight that's just casted down on rookies. We actually this season on NFL Day, we're stealing the strategy that NBA Top Shot used last season, where they released their common debuts at the beginning of the season. They had this whole season long strategy of, hey, you want to get the rares from Victor Wembanyama? Well, you're going to need to stack his common debuts, right? If you want to get Victor's legendaries, you're going to have to stack his rares to get those. And then also there were hits throughout the season. They had locking leaderboards, et cetera, and all sorts of other things, right? So we took that strategy and we applied it to this season. And so far, I think it's worked out really well. We released rookie moments for every team had rookie moments. Some had more than others, but also we really wanted to make sure that we were casting a wide enough net, because there's always going to be rookies that kind of come out of nowhere. Puka Nacua is a perfect example last year. Drafted 5th or 6th round. No one knew who he was going to be. And he ends up probably being one of the best players in the whole draft outside of CJ Stroud, right? So, we wanted to make sure there was kind of a level playing field at the beginning of the season. Hey, stake your claim. If you think Jordan Whittington, drafted in the 6th round by the Rams this year, is going to have a big role, by all means, go at it, right? So we're actually in the midst of our rare rookie drop right now, our Regal rookies drop, where we have ongoing trade-in auctions, which some people call burn leaderboards, the same concept, where you can trade in your common debuts for that player's rare moments. And things are heating up. The first wave is going to end tomorrow, Saturday. I don't know when this is going to air, but it's going to end Saturday. And they're going to keep going every 2 days. So we've seen a lot of really positive things with the rookies this year. They've been in high demand. We had over 150,000 orders for packs, for rookie packs at the beginning of the season. We launched these packs yesterday on Thursday on Halloween, and we're already up over near 28,000 orders with a couple days to go in our pre-order window. So they've been in high demand. I love collecting rookies as well. They're very unique. You're only a rookie once, right? You can play in the league for 15 years, but you're only a rookie once. So those collectibles surely are definitely sought after. So far so good. So definitely, I definitely have my bags packed with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Those are the two guys that I hopped on. I hopped on Brian Thomas pretty early, but Malik Neighbors, yeah, feeling pretty good about him too.
Nice. I actually got burned by a burn board for NBA Top Shot. I learned my lessons that could apply to NFL all day. I did a burn where I was like, I'm going to get a more rare NFT or collectible. But it turns out the moment that I burned became more limited because so many people burned them.
Oh wow!
So it was a reverse effect where a lot of NBA Top Shot people were like, interesting. So that was an interesting take that I'm being more careful what I burn. It's a great mechanism, great utility. I personally love it.
There's a lot of strategy that goes into these trade-in auction burn leaderboards. Do you submit it really early? Do you wait to the end? Do you try to establish kind of that price point? So there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of people stack things in anticipation of things coming up. So it's pretty fun. I've had a good time with it as well.
Yeah, that's just one mechanism of fun that I'm loving about Dapper overall. Tell us about the playbook, because earlier in I would like to say the first or second week of the playbook, you gave out $250,000. Now, I'm not sure if someone did the incorrect analysis and got let go because it got extremely difficult right after that. At the next week, I would like to say 90% less winners, right, of the playbook. So talk to us about that and about the playbook in general.
Yeah, so playbook is a feature that's been around for a little over 2 years now, but leading up to this season, it got a total revamp and refresh and how it works. So playbook of the past, you were collecting moments as games were happening and you were submitting them at the end of the week to earn a prize. Now it's all prediction based. So using your collection in multiple difficulties of lobbies to earn different rewards. And yes, there was a week where All Day paid out over $250,000 in rewards. But I'll say, football is just so hard to predict. Some weeks are going to be easier than others. I know there's a lot. I talk to collectors about this. There's a lot of collectors that feel like, All Day is specifically gone out of their way to make it so hard that no rewards are paid out. And I can raise my hand and say that is not true. We want this game to be fun. We want it to be engaging. With a ton of people losing, it sucks, right? That's not a fun game. But I'll say this, like, it's a game that I would totally envision will adapt and change over time. It's the first iteration of things. I think if you go back and look at Fast Break, how when Fast Break first started to where it is today, there's just been a lot of tweaks and adjustments. But I think, so far we've seen a lot of positive metrics as far as like people coming back to the product and participating in the product, which is super important to us as well. But yeah, the 250,000 week, I didn't win that week. I was like, man, everyone won but me. Yeah, it's just tough. Football's tough, man. Like, it's hard. So I think you'll see some adjustments here and there as we go along.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I've really enjoyed is I think you guys might have an official partnership now with OTM, Own the Moment. And for those of you who don't know, that really provides like really deep insight. I don't think a regular person would have with cardboard, right? You can see which collectibles are inside the pack. So you can value the pack accordingly, or you can see the historical sales of a particular collectible and you can price that accordingly. It's very dynamic. Can you talk to us about that? Is there a partnership? I think I would like to say there is, and just kind of your thoughts on that overall.
Yeah, OTM or Own the Moment. It's a third party website off NFL All Day, but you can connect your Dapper wallet, which houses all of your moments to their site, and it hands down their site. If you're not aware of it and you collect NFL All Day moments, you got to go check it out. You're able to see like, hey, there's 1,000 packs called Pack A, and 500 have been opened and 500 haven't been opened, and this is what's left in those 500 packs. So if you're really hunting, an AJ Brown jersey cereal and it's in the packs, you can keep ripping packs because it hasn't been opened yet, which that's kind of a downfall with cardboard. You don't know when someone opens it. They may open it and just hold on to it for all you know, right? So that's really awesome. It also connects to your whole collection, so you can see in real time how things are doing. You can do a lot of market research yourself. They've got great search and sorting filters where you can go and see the history of a moment. You can go and look up pretty much anything there is to do with their collectibles. So, and not to mention just, their search functions, but they've got all sorts of other stuff. They have NBA Top Shot stuff on there. They have other things on there. They have their game that we already talked about called Rumble, which is free to play. Go in and submit your moments, and based on how they perform, you can win real rewards that you can use to buy more moments. So very, very highly recommend OTM. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been amazing just to see, how even the secondary pack sales, that's the first for the season. If I'm incorrect, please correct me. That dynamic has not, I mean, that you can do that on eBay, on these live stream sites, but instantaneously the market demand is seeing pack sale. That's amazing to me. You can see like a sell wall, a buy. You can are people going to be able to make bids for packs in the future? Because that's a feature I'm hoping NBA Top Shot had, and maybe NFL All Day may have in the future.
Yeah, so I think we would call it offers. NBA Top Shot has offers. Collectors should expect offers to come to NFL All Day pretty soon.
Nice.
It's something that's been worked on. It's no secret. It's been announced that at some point it will be coming, but I think it'll be coming a lot sooner than maybe people will think. As far as packs go, I don't think that's in the V1, but would never close the door on that one. I think that would be interesting as well.
Yeah, definitely. One of the last questions here. I thought the Ultimate was like the ultimate collectible, just 1 of 1. Then this year it expanded to, I believe, 10, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was always going to be a certain amount of number. But then we saw NBA Top Shot review another tier of collectibles called Supernova just like 2 weeks ago. Is there something like that coming to NFL All Day? I mean, talk to us about these tiers.
Yeah, so NFL All Day has Ultimate, which is out of 10, at most out of 10. It could be less. Legendary, which can range anywhere from 11 to 99. Rares, uncommons, and commons. So it's just an easy way to give a kind of a quick glance of where something falls in the levels of scarcity. NFL All Day has moments called Genesis, which were the first ever moments ever created on NFL All Day. Those are technically ultimate moments. They're 1 of 1s. There have only been 10 that have ever been released, and there's like 350 50 of them. Don't quote me on the exact number. And we made a promise that, we will communicate by the end of 2024 what will happen to those moments. There's a lot of collectors wondering what's going to happen. Is NFL Day going to release them? Will they lock them away forever? Will they sell them in packs? But nonetheless, not to scare anyone, that should be coming soon as well. But basically the way that it's always worked for Ultimates on NFL Day is out of 10, unless it's a challenge where you're, earning a specific moment through a challenge that's minted to the number of completions. But yeah, All Day's always been out of 10. Legendary has always kind of fluctuated between 30 and 99, just depends. And then rares, uncommons, and commons. So
love it. I like to think one of those Genesis was a Joe Montana, the catch one. I think I could be wrong there, but
no, that was an out of 10. That was an out of 10.
That was out of 10. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
but it
that's
has
good.
it has his little shout out here. It has his autograph on the thumbnail. We have a couple of players. LaDainian Tomlinson's Ultimate has his autograph on the thumbnail. Eric Dickerson has his autograph on the thumbnail. So very cool to see. You've seen NBA Top Shot do that as well with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. So that's a nice little touch where the athlete is actually signing a collectible.
Oh, cool. Once Bitcoin hits 500,000, I'm going to get my hands on one of Joe Montana's.
There you go.
Last two questions to wrap things up. I mean, you've had an amazing run so far. This year has been really good in terms of NFL All Day amongst all my peers in the communities. We've been collecting like never before. Brian's got packs he's not willing to open at all. I'm like, sell the pack, Brian. He's like, no.
Sure.
So what's been the major learning lessons? I wouldn't say of this year, but we've been around now, right? Top Shot, All Day, and kind of what's next for All Day.
Yeah, so I think everyone strives for perfection, right? You would love to never make a mistake. We would be the first people to say that there's things that have happened in the past that we probably wish we could have done differently, right? But I think one of the coolest things that we've learned from last season into this season is we've taken, it's great that we have another product alongside us with NBA Top Shot that's a couple years ahead of us, and we're both trying different things and seeing what works, and we share learnings, and we'll try, what works over here, we'll try on Top Shot. What works on Top Shot, we'll try over here. And one of the things that's worked really well for Top Shot is more thematic and really hyper focused bite-sized drops on a weekly basis. We've seen just historically when new users come to the site and they have a pack that they can open up and rip, it's more likely that they stick around and continue on with the product versus, in the past, packs would sell it really fast and then there's no packs available and new people come to the site and there's nothing to do and they move on. So that's just kind of that ebb and pull of, hey, more packs. Collectors, may not want more packs, but then also it's great for new user onboarding and retention. So some of the learnings we took from last season was we introduced team packs, which are, lower end, lower cost packs that are just kind of always available for a new person to come in and buy. And that speaks to their loud and loyal fandom. So, Brian, if you are a big Steelers fan and you come to our site, you've never collected before, and we have this offer for you that's a Pittsburgh Steelers pack where you can open up, your favorite George Pickens or Joey Porter Jr. Oh, sorry, I got dogs barking.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I got dogs barking. You can open up a pack with players that you love and the team you love. You're more likely to retain and stick around. So we've taken that evolution and applied that to this year, where we have even better offers. And then as well, we took learnings from Top Shot with the more thematic and hyper focused drops. So we've mixed both of those things in, combined with our rookie plan. That's really just helped us overall with just keeping a weekly cadence. Collectors know what to expect, and it's really hyper focused content. Instead of making a bunch of moments, it's just really hyper focused and exciting.
Super cool. I definitely need to go get some team packs. I got some in it before. I didn't know they were available all the time now. That's amazing. Well, it's been awesome to have you on to give us an update on All Day. We would love to have you back here. If people want to reach out to you, if you want to be found, that is, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at PackRipMahomets. You can also jump into the NFL All Day Discord. Me and other All Day team members are in there all the time, chit chatting with collectors and answering questions. And come to All Day now and make your you can make free predictions and win prizes. Why wouldn't you do that? Come on in.
That's right. It's free. Last thing before I let you go, I want to say Brock Purdy is still on his rookie contract. He's a great face for the NFL, potentially all day, clean cut. I play for Iowa, I believe. So, just putting out there,
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, Joe, let's see him win a Super Bowl first. And then if he can win a Super Bowl,
burn.
we'll see what we can do.
That's Shanahan's fault, man. This guy's in his sophomore year in the Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
All right, Spencer. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was great. I'd love to come back.
Awesome.